You know you're desperate when you're trying to shame, when you have Barack Hussein Obama, our former president, trying to shame black men into voting for Trump. I mean, into voting for Kamala. He says that's unacceptable for a black man to vote for Trump. Dude, that ain't going to work. You're getting desperate, man. You're almost at the Dirk Diggler level out in the parking lot at the end of Boogie Nights. You know, it's just not a good look. Okay, shaming people into voting for somebody else is just, have you ever heard of that working? You think that's going to work? I don't think that's going to work. Okay. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. I just saw that blitz across the CNN graphic. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Keller ISD is going to offer alternative meals for lunch bombs. People who don't pay their kids' bills when it gets $25 or more owed. And they're going to get a sun butter and jelly sandwich. Lunch entree will be turkey and cheese sandwich. Okay, so it's the shame lunch. Shame! 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 They're also going to have a guy in a robe, like a monk in a robe with a bell. He's bald with blacking eyes, black all circles around his eyes, and he's shaking a bell, saying "Shame! Shame!" following you around right at the lunch counter, all the way to you sit down and throughout the whole meal. Okay, maybe not. They say that cashiers at the campuses in Keller ISD that make them eat the shame lunch at $25 owed or more will be done proactively but discreetly by their cashiers. They have a line. It says lunch bums, and it's kind of like an arrow pointing. You shake your head. You go no. And then you say you point to put that back, and then you point to the shame line. Yes, and they have like a UV light and stuff, or some kind of flashing light over you. And then a little thing goes on in the area where the cafeteria workers are ringing you up. Ding, 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 ding. Shame, shame, shame. Attention, attention. Whatever the kid's name is. Ricky Scott has not paid their lunch. They owe $28.10 for 2 weeks now. There you go. That's it. The shame lunch. If they get to 50, I think they tase you and beat you down. I don't know, in the parking lot. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I think this is great, though. By the way, the sun butter lunch, wait till you hear sun butter and jelly lunch. Wait till you hear what the ingredients are. They ain't good. But if you are a lunch bum and you don't pay your kids' bills, then that's your problem. Unless you're poor, and if you're poor, you get free lunch and breakfast and all that stuff. Okay, 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. We got 3 lines open. My question is this lunch shaming or a smart way to get the parents to pay for their own kids' meals? And has the free lunch, breakfast, and dinner program made parents more dependent on free meals when they don't need to be? Unless they're, like I said, impoverished, that's fine, obviously. But if you can afford it, making a modest salary or greater, you can pay your kid. You can buy your kid lunch. I'm tired of paying for your cable. Or your nice shoes or your nice rims or something like that, or your nice car that you can't afford and have a $500 a month car payment. That's not my problem. You're living beyond your means, perhaps. Okay, let's go to... who do we go to first? Who disagrees with me? Troy first. Okay, Troy, you are on WBAP. Welcome.
Hey, welcome, Chris. Thanks for having me. First time I've ever been on.
Thank you. Thanks for calling me. Wait. It's your first time calling?
Yeah, well, to you.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Welcome to the show. By the way, I'm not normally up this late either. Go ahead, sir.
All right, that's awesome. Look, I got 95% I agree with you on, but 5% of it's a little wrong, okay? So let me go quick. We pay a lot of taxes to the schools, right? Mm-hmm. And here recently in Fort Worth, we had a superintendent resign, and we still got to pay her like almost $1 million.
Yeah, she was a disaster. Okay. She was a woke disaster, yeah.
Let's go into let's do a little bit woke stuff. Let's do the DEI or the diversity, inclusion, whatever they call it. I don't pay much attention to it. However, we got 5 days a week in a school we've got many diverse cultures in the school. So on Monday we have Italian food. On Tuesday we have Arabic food. On Wednesday,
do they actually have that
whatever.
there? Do they have that there?
Okay, no, but let's say we do this, right? And if your children don't like that, then they can have the ham and turkey sandwich and the chocolate or white milk. Our taxes already pay for this. You know, give the kids the food. Put a multicultural menu in there, and if your kid don't want it, let them eat the what did you call it? The
sun butter sandwich and turkey and cheese sandwich.
That way. Give a multicultural choice.
I don't want to be feeding kids Islamic food one day or Arabic food one day, and where that's getting way too niche. And I'm not interested in doing that. DEI is destroying this country and our children's minds, and it is teaching them to hate each other based on the color of their skin and such. It is destructive. It makes people not trust each other and not get along. As far as food, I think instead of diversity with food, which I think it would be an expensive disaster, and you probably have half the kids not want to eat any of it, whether they're diverse or not. And I think you just make what is common for the average American. And in this country, you can be diverse, but you need to assimilate. So average American meals should be produced as they usually are.
Well, look.
So you want a diversity and equity inclusion program for your meals? Is that what you're saying?
No.
What?
What I'm asking is give the kids a choice. Okay, so look, I live in the house my grandfather built in 1940. He built the Coca-Cola plant on South Main Street and the conveyor system. Mm-hmm. I am 100% true American. Love my hamburgers. In fact, I got a Whataburger sitting in my car, so you can't hear the radio.
What?
But
why didn't you go get some halal food tonight, sir? Be diverse. Go ahead, sir.
I love Korean food. And I also love to eat falafel.
What does this have to do with school lunches? I don't know what this. What does this have to do with? What does this have to do with school lunches and lunch bums? Parents not paying their kids lunch and getting the shame. The lunch shame.
I've already paid that lunch.
You want to pay for everybody's free lunches? Is that what you're telling me?
No. What I do is I already pay the school system. Okay.
The lunches aren't free, sir.
In my taxes.
The lunches aren't free.
And then, wait a minute. Yes, they are, because they just gave $1 million to the superintendent that did a month job.
That's not buying. Okay, listen. Lunches are not free. That's why they're saying if you don't pay your $25 bill, you get cut off and you get a crappy lunch thing. What are you? I don't even understand what you're getting at here. You're not even answering the question. It is two questions I've been asking. Is this lunch shaming or a smart way to get parents to pay for their own kids' meals? What's the answer to that?
Nah, it's a shame.
Okay, so you're okay with parents being bums and not paying their kids lunch, $25 in debt, to teach them to be in arrears and to stick your hand out everything's free. You want to pay for everything then. You want to raise our children in the 4th ISD and all over the DFW. You want to teach them to stick their hand out. How is that good for us?
Chris?
Yes, how is that good for us?
I believe that you put that parent in debtor's prison.
You're joking.
Lock them up.
Okay, you're not being serious. You're making something up. Why aren't you answering the question? You said give them to them free. You want to pay for everybody's lunch. Is that what you're saying?
No,
that's what I'm hearing.
I've already paid for it.
No, you have not.
I have.
So then why is Keller ISD charging? Why is Keller ISD
$1 million?
Why is Keller ISD charging for school lunches? Okay, why?
Because they're greedy.
Is it fraud?
Politicians.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your call, Troy. Wow. You know what? Troy's right. Troy, you should have gotten that Whataburger meal you're going to eat tonight for free, because there's greedy politicians at Whataburger, in the school district, or everywhere. They're all greedy. You should get everything for free. And I want you to be the first person to pay for everybody's meals everywhere, starting at birth all the way to death. God bless you. I will send you the bill for my grocery bill every 2 weeks, which is about $850. Thank you, sir. $1,700 a month you're paying for. Thank you. That's almost my mortgage. We have Alex in Keller. She disagrees with me, doesn't she? Opposite. Oh, she agrees with me. Okay, Alex, I want you to stand by because we're running a little bit late. That gentleman took a long time to not answer the question. That was weird. What was he doing? Was he trying to be funny? I didn't even know what he was doing. He thinks he's funny or something. I don't know. Okay. Or whatever, and he wants a welfare state. I'll let him pay for it first, and then we'll all follow it. All right, what do you think? Is this lunch shaming or smart? He said it was shaming, though. He really does want to pay for everybody's lunch. What a nice guy. Is this lunch shaming or a smart way to get parents to pay for your own kids' meal? I'm going to add a question. Do you agree with our last caller? Do you want to pay for everybody's kids' lunches now, like he does? Maybe you do. Tell me. And Keller ISD is making parents get the crappy lunch if they're $25 or more in arrears paying their lunch bill, their lunch bums. And is that lunch shaming or a smart way to get parents to pay for their own kids' meals? And has the free lunch, breakfast, and dinner program made parents more dependent on free meals when they don't need to be? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. I say eat the lunch of shame, sir. I'll read you the label of this peanut butter, sun butter, and jelly sandwich they get. It's hint, it's not healthy. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Okay, it's getting funky. Two lines open, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. If your parents don't pay your lunch bill, doesn't matter what your age is in Keller ISD, when you hit $25 owed, you are cut off and you are given the lunch of shame. And the lunch of shame is a sun butter and jelly sandwich, and that's for breakfast. The fifth ingredient is sugar. Actually, it might be the fourth. Wheat, a whole wheat flour is number one. Water, wheat, gluten, and sugar is number four. Oh, number four. Fourth ingredient, and number five is molasses, which is basically, in my opinion, sugar. Maybe it's not to you, or maybe I'm wrong, but I'm no dietitian. But I have slimmed down over the years. I'm on the radio, so that means it's brain surgery. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I think that lunch shaming is great, and I think you're a lunch bum, and your son should be cut off, or your daughter, if they're 5 or 10 or 15 or 17 in the school district, and you haven't paid your lunch bill, and you don't qualify for free lunches. And I think we've expanded the free lunch, breakfast, and dinner. It's a joke. You're subsistent on the state now, and it's a disgrace. So no, I think it's a good thing. Is this lunch shaming or a smart way to get parents to pay for their own kids' meals? Has free lunch, breakfast, and dinner programs made our parents more dependent on free meals than when they don't need to be? As I feel, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go next to MJ in Fort Worth. Hello, MJ.
Hello.
Hello.
I used to work at a school district in Grapevine.
Okay.
And it works.
Lunch shaming works?
Oh, yeah. You give them that kind of lunch 2 times in a row, and their parents are up there paying that bill.
There you go. What does that tell you?
They can pay it.
That's exactly right. We're the land of milk and honey. Pay your bills. This ain't Kamala. This ain't Kamala land. Go ahead.
Yeah. If it was a child that obviously the parents had lost their job or something and they're done, we all pulled together and helped them out.
Of course, and I don't mind paying with my tax dollars for people who are come from impoverished homes, but I think that the lion's share of these kids are not impoverished homes. Their parents are just bums who readjust their budget to have nice things they can't afford. God bless you, MJ. Thanks for your great call. Martha, Azel, go. You got 35 seconds.
Yes, I agree with you, but also I've had family members work in the cafeteria in Wise County, and I don't think they should decrease or change the menu because they haven't paid, because they throw food away in the dumpster. The employees are not allowed to eat it, and they're not allowed to give it to students. They throw it in the dumpster.
I know. Let me tell you something. That's where the lion's share of the liberal Democrat policies on free lunches go, and breakfasts. Let me add them breakfasts, not breakfast. Breakfasts. I went to public school, but I wanted to say this.
Yeah.
I got a roll, but I want to say this, and that is, I don't want to pay for somebody else's meal, and if you give it away for free like you're suggesting, then we got to give everybody free lunches. Then nobody should pay. So that's where I disagree.
You misunderstood. I agree that the parents should pay, but I don't think they should change the menu.
Okay. But how do you cut them off? I'm going to put you on hold because you got to answer the question. How do you cut them off? Also coming up next, amazing tax stuff. None of it's good from Kamala. Good stuff from Trump. Is Kamala going to tax your 401k gains? Yes, you'll hear about that coming up next on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-9227. We're going to talk to my friend and CPA and sponsor Randy Martin from IRSprob.com in just a moment. We've got some several things on Trump saying we are going to write off interest on your car loans if you elect him. Is it a good idea? How would that affect us, good or bad? Number two, we're going to talk about Kamala literally taxing our 401k gains, possibly. And our houses that when there's gains, but yet unrealized, meaning we didn't take it out. Is that for real? Much more too, coming up in just a moment. But I wanted to go back to Martha and Hazel on Keller ISD lunch shaming. I call it that. They say it's not that at all, but I just call it that because it basically is in a good way. If you don't pay your lunch of your kid's lunch, doesn't matter what their age is, of $25 or more in arrears, your kid gets the lunch of shame and the breakfast of shame. Sun butter jelly, peanut butter, sun butter and jelly sandwich, or for breakfast, and for lunch, turkey and cheese sandwich. Good. Now, they say they do it discreetly. But you have to hold people accountable. If they're not getting free lunch because they're not impoverished, then we're not giving you free meals. And if you do get one, you're going to get the lunch of shame. 800-288-WBAP. Martha, Hazel, I wanted to finish off with you. Where were we headed? You had one more thing you were saying about, you said you worked at a school district before. And what's that?
Yes. But what I'm trying to say is I don't know how to resolve it, but I don't think they should change the menu because, like I said, they throw food away.
Right. My question for you, though, I know you said they throw it all away, and I've heard of that time and time again, and it's a horrible thing. But I wanted to ask you a question. The question is, did you have a lot of lunch bums? I'm not talking about the kid. I'm talking about the parents in your district where they didn't pay and they had no reason to not pay other than being lunch bums.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, I agree with you.
No, I'm not asking about that. I'm not asking if you agree with me. I'm asking when you told me you worked in a school district with a cafeteria before. And my question to you was, did you see a lot of parents who are lunch bums not paying their kids tabs and being in arrears? Did you see that a lot?
Yes.
Okay, what would you say the percentage was? Just ballpark it.
About 30%.
Okay, that's disgusting to me. It's angering to me.
No,
I would never do that to my child. Would you?
No, I would not. But I don't feel like it's our position to shame the child because of the parent.
Well,
and I know we have to make the parents aware the student or the child is getting less or something different. And I just don't think we should take it out on the children. But I understand that we've got to make these parents stand up and take care of their issues.
Well, then how do you do that unless you make the kid get the crappy lunch?
Well, I don't.
How do you do that? Tell me a better idea.
I don't know how to resolve it.
Well, then I think this idea works for now. And I think ideas and exchange and debate and discussion is great. But yeah. I don't want, if you start giving them free lunches when they don't need free lunches and it's because they choose to be a bum.
Yes.
And you do that, you're literally rewarding that. I mean, it's government largesse, and I know that you throw away stuff a lot, and that's a horrible thing. And I agree with you on that, but I don't want to give free meals to people who can afford them. I don't want to train a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 18-year-old to stick their freaking hand out as an adult. We're paying too much now. Do you want to pay more for people's for people's things they don't need?
No, I understand that. I do understand the issue.
So look, I know you have compassion. I do too, but I don't have any compassion for a parent who's a bum. And if you can think of a better way, I'm listening. So,
well, like I said, how to resolve it. I just feel like that I understand that we're teaching the children that, but my child would never know we didn't have food for groceries. Okay, my children never knew that I was behind or couldn't afford something. And I don't know if the parents are telling the children or the children are being told, but I think it should be between the parent and the school.
And if you keep it between the parent and the school, nothing will get done and they will get free stuff. That's my point. So thank you very much. I know you have a heart, but if it's not working, then we should just give everything for free. Can you think of the free stuff you'll start paying for with Kamala and with Joe Biden, we're already paying for? You're paying for somebody's tuition. And they're making $125,000 to $250,000 or $300,000 a year in a combined income household, and you're paying for their tuition. Are you enjoying that? I mean, it's all the same to me. It really is. That's it. I really went nuts when I saw a guy with an SUV living decently, saying it's great because he adjusted his budget. He literally is doing other things with his money and in this summer, too. It's like, this is ridiculous. It's angering. Appreciate your call, though. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Tax Man on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. How are you, sir?
Hey, Chris. Doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Okay. No free lunch for you either, sir. No, none for you. Starve them all. Okay, so Trump is proposing making car loan interest tax deductible. And, you are honest. And tell me the truth on this. Is this lame? Is this good? What are your honest thoughts about this?
Well, if you're using a vehicle in a business, it's already tax deductible because you're writing it off against your business income. But for individuals, this would be something that, and he was speaking to I think a predominantly group from Detroit when he was saying this. So know your audience. But we've had that before. Years ago, the interest on vehicles, going back to the 80s here, but it was deductible, on your income taxes. So it's
I didn't know that. It was deductible on your taxes in the 80s?
Correct.
Wow.
Yes, right off the interest, car loan interest.
Oh, my gosh. Correct. How much of a difference can it make on an average car? Just take a guess. I know it's ridiculous because everybody's income is different. Everybody's taxes are different. But if you had to throw something out, or if you don't want to answer it that way, maybe just tell me what kind of, you were heading there already. What kind of a difference could this make in someone's taxes?
Yeah, it depends on how much money you're spending on a vehicle and how much your interest is on that vehicle loan. For years, Detroit was pushing out these vehicles with almost 0% interest. They're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Depends on what the debt is. It would be nice to have that amount taken off of your income before the tax rate is applied to it. That's in effect what he's saying. That's the way they would implement it.
Okay. All right. So you do think it's okay to do that? It's a good idea, or?
Sure, man. I'm always for lower taxes.
Okay. I like that then. That's good to know. Okay. And then, so that was one that's solid. And then, one of the things, too, Trump said no tax on overtime, no tax on tips. Are you down with those two as well, honestly? Or are you going, well, it might underfund? Go ahead.
I see that very difficult to implement. All of a sudden, I'm going to, if that law is passed, the first thing I'm going to say is, man, I'm a full-time husband and a full-time daddy, and every other hour that I work outside of those two main jobs is overtime, and
yes.
I'm getting paid by tips. There would have to be some pretty good legislation, some pretty detailed legislation to really get that to work right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it seems like it'd be kind of slippery there to get that to work right. I don't see how they could do that. But
if they did somehow, are you okay with it as far as a policy if it were to go through somehow?
Yeah, I get the idea in general. If somebody's working 40 hours a week and they're paying taxes on that money, hey, they've already paid in their fair share. And so anything that they work above and beyond that, they get to keep all of it. Sorry, I'm here at DFW Airport.
That's okay.
And so I get the...
Go ahead. That was me.
That's what he's trying to do there, and it makes total sense to me. It's heartbreaking when you're have somebody that's working overtime or putting in a lot of extra hours or working two jobs, and 30% of that second paycheck all goes to taxes. So I would be for it. I just don't know how they could implement it. But of course, I'm not going to bet against that man anymore.
I know.
I didn't think there was any way in the world that he was going to get the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act passed. And it was passed. He must have used a bulldozer to push it through Congress.
Yeah, and that was good. You said that was very good. You said for small businesses and for all of us.
Most definitely.
Okay. Randy Martin, can you hold, sir? I got a couple more questions I want to ask you. We got Kamala Harris is eyeing our 401ks. Is that really true? Yeah. And I wanted you to tell me, is it really true that he also, on that same notion when we come back, is it really true that she's eyeing taxing the gains on our houses, even when we're just sitting and living in them, not selling them, along with a couple other things too? The business, there's a qualified business tax deduction that might get stopped by her. That I think you like it for a while. I mean, you deal with small business plans and people who have tax issues. Stand by. Randy Martin from IRSprob.com. If folks do want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, give us a call at 214-214-3000 or look us up online at irsprob.com. That's IRSPROB.com.
All right, we'll put you on hold here. We'll be right back with you to answer those last couple questions on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP now. I said now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Randy Martin from IRSprob.com, one of my sponsors, and he is my CPA and does an incredible job with me, my wife, and our small businesses. Randy, thanks for joining us for a few more minutes from DFW Airport. You're on the scene. Maybe not. Maybe you're not. But thank you, brother. I appreciate you very much, always. Okay, so I want to move to the next issue at hand here. Kamala Harris is eyeing your 401k, according to the Wall Street Journal. Tell me about that, what that means from the Journal today, and then also tell me, is it really true that she's going to go after our gains, whether it be in 401ks or whether it be our home values? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, with all of this, what we know is that all of this is on the table. She's not saying that your 401k is safe. She's not saying that none of this has been taken off the table. These are active discussions that are being had. So, will she, if elected president, will she actually go after the 401k? Will she actually go after unrealized capital gains? Only time will tell. With the unrealized capital gains, I would say that's as hard as legislation to write as trying to carve out tips and overtime income.
But she has proposed that.
We don't know, but it is on the table, and that's a scary thing that it's just being brought up. All these taxes that we have started as just discussions being had and finally were implemented. So that's a concern. If they start doing this, though, if they start taxing 401ks, the gains in your 401ks, if they start taxing the gains, the unrealized capital gains, that's when you have something that has gone up in value and you haven't sold it yet, but yet it's we used to call them a paper gain. Yeah. You don't really make any money until you sell it, but right. If you haven't sold it yet, they want to tax that. They are eyeing that.
She has said that's one of the things she wants to do.
Yeah.
Okay, which means going after my home going up that I live in, even though I'm not taking anything out. I live in the dang thing. That could be a possibility under her policy proposals, as well as my 401k.
Exactly. It will tax us into bankruptcy.
This is insane. This makes me rage.
I don't know about your situation, Chris. I think you're in the same situation I am. But if I couldn't buy back my house now, value.
No.
Now if I had to start all over again, I'd be in a lot of trouble.
She wants to make us poor. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And pay for.
And I can't afford to pay the tax on the value of it that's gone up either. And my question on that also is, okay, if the value goes down, will you get a write-off?
Yes, of course not.
So
No.
If what's good for the goose is good, it has to be good for the gander, right? But and I'm not seeing how they could write that in either. I'm nervous about this. I'm nervous how it would be applied. It would take, you talk about growing the bureaucracy of the federal government. Just to implement these changes would take a lot of man hours in it, and it's. There's some taxes they can do that are pretty simple. Sales tax, you know how much you spend on something, and it's a percentage of that.
Yeah.
Income taxes are not. They're inherently they're bureaucratic to administer. They're in something like this, as far as unrealized gains. What is the value of something that hadn't been sold yet? We don't know.
Nothing.
I mean, we fight with our with the Central Appraisal District all the time on that with our house. So if the federal government steps into this, it will be a mess, and it will be bankrupting us all, and we'll all be dependent on the federal government for our food.
Well, watching her, she was only one of a couple of people in San Francisco that pushed through taking away everybody's handguns and by force. And thankfully, she was smacked down by the California Supreme Court. But there's all sorts of wild, far-left things that she would do if she could, as we know. Warren Buffett, what if he had faced Kamala Harris's unrealized capital gains tax from the outset? Tell me what would have happened on this one. This is brilliant.
The irony on this one's really great because we know that Buffett's a big Democrat. So what would have happened? He wouldn't be anywhere where he's at right now. He's going to have to write a pretty hefty check, of which he doesn't have the funds in the bank to pay, because here again, it's all paper gains that he has. A lot of his wealth is just the increase in value of stuff that he bought years ago. He's in. By the way, if we have to start doing this, and people have to go in and start liquidating their stock portfolios to do so, to pay the tax on it, everybody's going to be there's going to be a mad rush to the market to sell your shares, so that you can have some liquidity to pay the tax with.
It's just disgusting.
It will bankrupt us all.
Randy Martin, thank you for your time. Really great, really, really great time as always. You are always very, very helpful to us and enlightening. Randy, if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that? If someone is having an issue with the IRS, if they're stuck and they're having a problem that they can't resolve, if they're just in a situation where they have more taxes than they can ever afford to pay, or if they're getting audited by the IRS, or if they're just can't afford to pay their current taxes and they need some type of tax planning and tax advisory services, they need to give us a call and get a time with me. It's 214-214-3000. The number again is 214-214-3000. Or look us up online at irsprob.com. That's IRSPROB.com. You the man, Randy Martin. Thank you, brother. Safe travels.
Thank you, brother Chris.
All right, thank you.
Man.
Take care. There he goes. My friend, my CPA, my sponsor, Randy Martin from irsprob.com. Okay, coming up next, this is going to be really, really, really good. North Texas driver gets a citation for something that happened at the dealership, and it's not his fault. Is it right? My take will probably surprise you, but I'll tell you I'm right. That's coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 8 at 10:03 on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.